So good evening, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. This is AJ's 77 Days of Transformation, and I'm so excited you all are here with me. Today, we're going to talk about starting where you are. Starting this moment, what are you doing? What's holding you back? We're going to get through all that together today. So I'm going to start off with posing a question to you all. It's kind of rhetorical because I already know where this is going to go, but do you want to be in the same place that you are right now, personally, professionally, spiritually, financially, or even with your health in 1 year from today? Now, knowing you all are Toastmasters and that you're growing and you're here to grow, I'm going to already guess that you guys are going to say no to that. That there's absolutely no way in 1 year from today you want to be exactly where you are right now. We all have goals, we have visions, and we have things that we are trying to do with our lives to better improve ourselves and our surroundings, our community, our family, our workplace, all kinds of, any place that we are, we really want to see it get better. And that starts with us. Now, second question, out of all the goals that you have, when you think about your personal goals, professional goals, spiritual goals, as I said, financial, and where you are in your health, how many of those goals are the same ones you had from a year ago? Hopefully not too many of them. But if that makes you think a little bit on where you are with those goals that you've had, that will open your mind to go, am I actually actively working on those goals? And what I mean by that is, do you have a timestamp on those goals? Have you actually put it into practice to say, this is what I want to accomplish in my spiritual world, in my physical world, and anything that you're trying to change? Have you put a stamp on that to say, I'm going to have it done by here? Whether that be a couple of weeks from now, small goal, a couple months from now, even if some of those goals are so big and your vision, as it should be, because we're Toastmasters, that your vision should be more probably than a year to 5 years out. So what's important to do is take those goals and shorten them down into smaller chunks, as you've probably heard, SMART goals, right? So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So that way you can also celebrate those moments along the way when you are achieving them, and that encourages you to keep going. When you have those small goals that you can sit there, even for me now, week by week, I'm looking at what I'm changing. I'm excited. I have to admit, yesterday, for the first time in a long time, reflecting on the last week and to where I am now and starting the next week, I was super excited for Monday. I can't say that I've been, besides this meeting tonight, that I've been super excited about a Monday in a long time, because I finally have started really putting timestamps on what I want to do and taking journal action. So, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So again, if you do not have a timestamp on a goal, do you know what that's called? It's a dream. I think Amy said exactly. It's just a dream. So we want to take those dreams and make them goals and put them in a timestamp, because that's the difference between dabbling in something and being serious about something. Are you taking the actions that are required to get there? So with knowing what your goals are, sometimes we have maybe an obstacle in the way, right? Maybe one, maybe two. So what is actually keeping you from starting? To just start where you are right now. First, you need to identify what that is. It could be, you could be saying time. You just don't have the time. Is it money? Is it disbelief in yourself? Is it somebody else saying that you can't do it? There's all kinds of things, and we can come up with so many different stories, so many excuses of why we can't start now. But you only need one reason to start. Just one. And it has to be strong enough. It has to be a reason strong enough in your heart that makes you want to get up and go with it and destroy every other excuse and disbelief that you have in your head. Now, one of the things I just realized too, because I did have some disbeliefs, I was telling myself, who are you to do this? What do you know? Other people are already doing this. When I started my podcast, I didn't know anything about podcasts, truth be told. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. Why not? So as I got going into my podcast a little bit, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to see what exactly is going on out there. Maybe I should check out some other podcasts. Maybe that was a bad idea because what I found was that there were so many people out there talking and saying things, and they had followers and they had so much to say, and they had these special guests. And I was like, oh my gosh, who am I to do this? Right. So I started telling myself I wasn't ready. I'm not ready. There's no way I can do this. And I took the momentum I had, I took the excitement I had, and I threw it all in the trash because I thought one thing I saw was my teeth were crowded. So I need to go back and wear my braces again. Then I saw that one of my friends, she had this really special background, and she was so professional looking when she was doing hers, and she just started too. I need to work on that. And I didn't really have a script. I was just talking out of my mouth. and And I just really was like, you're not prepared for this. But what I forgot was important was you just have to start where you are and not despise the days of small beginnings. You have to enjoy this journey. You have to take everything in that you're learning along the way. Because what I'm seeing on these other podcasts, I'm not watching their beginning, right? I'm watching a lot of work that they've put in, and a lot of time, and a lot of probably tears, and them being frustrated and not knowing if that's what they wanted to do either, if they were on the right path. And they kept pushing, and then they made it. So I have to remember that this is my story, this is my journey, and stop comparing myself to other people, because it's not my business what they're doing. And it's not my business for me to say I don't know what I'm doing, because what I started doing when I hear myself say doubt and disbelief and all the things that come crashing in, I turn around and say to myself, how do you know that's not going to work? You've never done this before. You've never tried this before. You don't know it's not going to work. So just try. And that has helped me flip the script in my head to just keep doing it, just keep pushing forward. So I want to say, embrace this journey, embrace your challenges, because that's where we grow. Learn to laugh at yourself, lighten up, because I know I can laugh at myself. We all know that, being a comedian. And make sure that you're journaling along the way so you can see your growth, know what you need to tweak, so that at the end of the week, you can go back and reflect on it through your journey and look forward to each little step, because it's those little steps that finally one day you're going to look back and realize how far you actually came. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. If you want something that you've never had before, you must be willing to do something you've never done before. And I finally looked that up, and it's Thomas Jefferson. So I want to thank you all for being here with me on this podcast, and I look forward to seeing you all. Make sure that you like and subscribe to me on YouTube or find me on Facebook. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.